Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build guide for the Chronoknight Fightr in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a mod that was made by Zaelen here, part of the DTO Otherworldly Archetypes subclass mod, or Daelin's Testament of the Otherworldly. This adds in 12 new subclasses, one for each class, kind of like a patch 8 in a mod form. So I'm just going to quickly show you all the different subclasses here. If one seems your fancy, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see builds for any of these other ones here. But the Chronoknight, I think this one's really cool because you get for subclass features the borrowed time here, so you basically use this to give yourself an immediate action. However, you get desynchronized, which can make it so that you only get an attack, a single attack per action, and can only use an action or a bonus action. Movement speed will get reduced by half, and you get disadvantage on concentration checks. So kind of like these slow. So yeah, there is a downside to using this, but you can also roll an intelligence save to resync yourself immediately. You also get timeless knowledge. So this is your sorcery points, which is equal to your intelligence modifier plus 1 per long rest, allowing you to use the borrowed time. But we gotta start here from the beginning with the fighter, because this is obviously a level 3 subclass. Now with the fighter, you get the second wind bonus action. A fighting style I'd recommend is defense. However, if you like large weapons, great weapon fighting is amazing. Archery is good if you want to be focused more on range. That's a beautiful thing about a fighter, and especially this subclass in particular, is you got many different ways you can build around it. I like the defense because you can use all of these here and just have a higher armor class. Now for our ability scores, this is going to be either dependent on strength or dexterity, depending on the weapons that you'd like to use. Strength is going to obviously be some of the more fun weapons in the game, but we do need intelligence too. You don't have to force yourself to get like a 16. In fact, a stat spread of something like this could work well. You can also dump strength and put your points into your dexterity if you want to be like the most overpowered version of this, because this will obviously get your dexterity modifier high, and then you could just use a strength potion if you wanted to, or many of these strength-based items in the game. So you could use either of those two stat spreads. And upon hitting level 2, we get the ever powerful action surge here. And then upon hitting level 3, we get ourselves the subclass, the Chronoknight. So again, we get ourselves the timeless knowledge, gaining a sorcery point equal to your intelligence modifier. So that's why we want to have decent intelligence to use that borrowed time there, giving ourselves that action. So alongside action surge, we can get in and do a lot of attacks. It's pretty interesting how it all works out. Now for our first feat, I'd recommend going with the alert feat or an ability score improvement on like your constitution or dexterity, depending on what you rolled around. It makes more sense for us to put points into our stats. Even things like Savage Attacker are really good because it's going to give us flat out more damage. Since we're attacking so many times, this could be a really good choice as well. I personally prefer going with Alert just to move first, but we do get ourselves another feat in 2 more levels, so that's not to worry. Level 5, Extra Attack. You guys know how good that is. And level 6, this is when we get our next feat, which I'd recommend Savage Attacker. Again, you could go with the Constitution or Dexterity strength increase depending on how you rolled your stats there. But I do think going first and hitting harder is priority, especially since we now can do multiple attacks per turn. Level 7 gives us a subclass feature, Alacrity. Your perception of time begins to skew, gain an additional reaction point per turn, and you can add your intelligence modifier to your initiative. So we're going to get a bit higher of initiative now, and we still have our dexterity modifier added to it, so we're not moving like last. We're going to go first. That's a +5 already. Pretty nice. Level 8 gives us another choice in feat. You could go with like the tough feat for additional hit points there, and even something like the Tavern Brawler feat could be interesting because you could use Nirolna as a throwing weapon, or you can go with an ability score improvement on either your dex or your constitution depending on how you rolled your stats there. And even the lucky feat is really nice too. I'm going to be taking this all the way up to level 20, and you can also keep it at level 12 if you prefer. Indomitable at level 9, but we get a new subclass feature, a reaction, once we get to level 10 with Rewind. You can use your reaction to rewind time when an ally is about to fail a saving throw, granting them a success instead. This ability is also once per short rest as well, so this is nice because it's like an Indomitable for your teammates, 1 level after you previously got it. So useful because you can protect your team and then blast away with 3 attacks per action now. This is where we get very powerful because we got our borrowed time, and if you succeed in the saves, you're not going to get hit by that, so you can continually just keep going away. Now we can boost our intelligence even higher just for the save, because that's going to help us out with avoiding that downside, and allows us to use the action a little bit more too. So you could go with a boost to intelligence. I should have probably taken it up to 16 or something, but we can also go with an increase to your... Actually, no, I should mention Sentinel too, because we do get an additional reaction. This can be really nice. When an enemy within melee range attacks an ally, you can use your reaction. So this is nice because we can actually protect our teammates from not only saving throws, but also attackers that get close to them. Yeah, upon hitting level 13 here, and you can always stop at level 12 if you wanted to, Indomitable too, giving yourself another saving throw success. We get another subclass feature at 15, so we can at level 14 take another ability score improvement on a stat here, or go with a increase like dexterity. I'm going to go with an increased intelligence there, just so we can get a bit more of our saves. But we also now get continuity, advantage on intelligence saving throws when you become stunned or lethargic. We would become desynchronized instead. So this is really good because you can go into haste and you don't have to worry about it breaking as much because you'll just desynchronize instead. Also really nice because stunned really sucks to get hit with, so it's really cool to have an ability to resist that there. Level 16 gives us another feat, so you can go with, again, Lucky or any of the others. We have Sentinel there for extra attacks. I would recommend going with like a Dex or a Intelligence increase. Strength too, I guess, if you're going with Strength, you max that out. Level 17 gives us Indomitable 3. You guys know how good that is. And 18 gives us the Chrono Break. Grant yourself and all nearby allies borrowed time. So you can give your entire group in a 9-meter range a additional action to attack with. If you got a bunch of fighters here, this can be pretty silly. All fighter teams are pretty fun too. Level 19 gives us our final feat here, so we can go with the tough feat since we are going all the way up to level 20 here. That'll give us 40 extra hit points, or you could go with an ability score improvement on intelligence or dexterity there to max out our stat. And then level 20 gives us that extra attack, so yeah, we become strong. And the outfit mod is the Royal Knight Armor here by Skirby. Now for equipment, there's a lot of really great choices. You could, if you don't want to put in the intelligence, is use the Warped Headband of Intellect there, as that'll just set it to 17, giving you a +3 modifier. You could also go ahead and use something like Seal Watcher Helmet if you want to see in darkness. The Scabby Pugilist Circuit lets us get up right in everyone's face, get additional points on our weapon attacks, and when we attack them many times, it adds up. Haste Helmet is good early game for the extra movement speed, and you can even go with something like the Helm of Baldur, and if you want something obviously quite powerful. For the boost, we're going to go Mass Soul Perception there. Late game, obviously, Haste Helmet early game. Cloak Protection is a great cloak there. Really, use whatever you got. It's not many in the game. Armor of Persistence is probably the best heavy armor if you want to go with it, but if you're built around dexterity, you're going to get a higher armor class off using the Armor of Agility, plus the +2 to saving throws so that we can protect ourselves. We do have Indomitable and everything else, so that could go on somebody else. Early game, Adamantine Scale Mail is going to be amazing, but late game, you could use the Armor Persistence if you wanted to. Now for gloves, these are insane. 2d6 actually, instead of 1d6 of force damage, because a crit will add an additional damage die. In the early game, you can go with something like, oddly enough, the Wondrous Gloves here, giving a +1 to your armor class is kind of nice. Even the Dark Justiciar Gauntlets add a 1d4 of necrotic damage, so it's more damage. And then, if you want to go crazy, you could even use the Helldusk Gloves. A 1d6 of damage is great, but also consider the fact that we can attack 4 times per action, and then get another action with Action Surge, and then get Borrowed Time for another action. And then we got Haste up, we got another action. If we got Bloodlust Potion, another action. You see where I'm going. It can be a lot of extra damage, but I like the Crater Flesh Gloves just to roll for crits, because we probably want the Helldusk on someone else. Evasive shoes are solid, although you could go with the Disintegrating Nightwalkers or Helldusk boots as well. And for rings, I got the Shadow Cloaked Ring for additional 1d4 damage, and the Caustic Band for an additional 2 points of damage. Amulet of Greater Health as well to set our con score up as high as possible. Now, Irelna is amazing because we can get an additional 1d6 of thunder damage on this, and yeah, we can go around throwing if we wanted to, but the Knife of the Undermountain King works great. You can even use the Halberd of Vigilance here for additional force damage, and whenever you do an attack roll as a reaction, you make it as with advantage. So this is really nice too, because we are going to get Sentinel on this, so we can be a little proactive with our damage. Sethin, Great Axe, really fun, or the Hellfire Great Axe also work good. And the Sword of Chaos is another powerful weapon that you could throw on too if you wanted, but another thing is Orange Dagger. Since you have 2 riposte, if you didn't take Sentinel, you could actually put this in your offhand and get a extra riposte attack, which is really nice. Actually, I'm going to throw on the longsword there. I should have taken Great Weapon Master, but this is a really good weapon to have. And then we got Hellrider Longbow for the +3 to our initiative, so that we do go first, even though we have our intelligence modifier also added on top. When it comes to combat, the best thing is we are fighters, so this is our favorite part of the day. We can just go in and start attacking. Now, that's really what you got. We rolled a 40 on our attack roll. Jeez Louise. So yeah, we're going to heal on every hit with this sword, which is really fun. So basically, we're going to get in. If you're a high elf, you have Booming Blade per action, which is nice. It'll give you a pretty big boost to overall damage. But the fighter, this is their gameplay here. We get a bunch of extra damage riders too, which is really nice. So yeah, you're basically just going to run around and attack. We don't have special special attacks, obviously, outside of if you took like if you took anything special there, like Booming Blade. But we just have so many attacks straight up, and then we have multiple actions if we run out. So we just ran out. That's not to worry. We also have action surge, so we can keep going and keep going. And yeah, we pretty much are just one-shotting. They're two-shotting most targets. I might mind break. Yeah, we got mind broken here, which actually is a type of stun, but it still worked where I lost my turn there. So that would have been a lot crazier. I didn't use borrowed time here, but we were on a tear. Well, I lost the haste on my character, but that's fine because we are still a crazy fighter, so we can just go bonk, bonk, bonk. I'm not going to risk it this time around, so we're just going to use arrows. I would recommend stocking up with arrow mini targets. That's really funny, got a critical hit on the second one. One thing about arrow of many targets, if you crit on your first character, it'll actually crit on every one of them, and it gives you the additional 2d6 of damage. Now, we use our action surge, but we now have borrowed time that we can use. So boom, we got it. We are now haste, like technically a haste type thing. You get desynchronized after this, so we gotta roll and take out everybody. That's the great thing about this, at level 12, you get so many extra attacks. Broke his concentration, got a double crit on that target. Amazing. I'm gonna use an arrow humanoid slaying to finish off this one here, and there it is. So yeah, didn't even have to worry about the borrowed time, didn't have to worry about desynchronize, which is basically just slow. That is it. That is the DTO Otherworldly Archetypes Chronoknight Fightr in Baldur's Gate 3, made by Zaelen here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know also which of the subclasses you'd like to see next, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.